Hello everyone, welcome to the Ozark Outpost. This is another edition of Global War 1985, Operation Mars. This is turn 4. Okay, Warsaw Pact rolled tech. They moved AMD to stage 2 and computers to stage 3. They bought 3 mechanized infantry and 3 MBTs. There wasn't any combat because the Toyota War is over and Warsaw Pact isn't quite ready to do anything offensive yet. They didn't move anything around in non-combat. Their forces they bought were used to reinforce East Germany and West Czechoslovakia. They've got an income of 19 and they saved 1 to put 20 in the bank. NATO got their basic intelligence increase of +2, which moved them up to 14, just shy of DEFCON 3. For their build, they bought 3 SAMs and a SPAG. It's also no combat because they're not allowed. They didn't move anything around. The SAMs were used to provide some air defense for Benelux. Some stuff went into Rhineland, and they put a second SAM over there at Marmara. Okay, their income was 14. Soviet Global. Yes, I think some gentlemen from the Ministry of Dice Rolling have been invited to an all-expenses-paid conference at the Lubyanka. Soviet Global missed all of their tech rolls, of which they now get 5 per turn. They now get 6 per turn. It's the original 3 for Soviet Global, +1 for FEC, and then FEC upgraded 1 army base, and if you can see it up there in Murmansk, Soviet Global upgraded 1. So yeah, they missed all 6 rolls. Very, very, very poor performance. For military aid, they purchased a SAM and a light infantry for PRF in El Salvador. For Iraq, they purchased a SAM. For themselves, they bought an artillery, a next-gen MBT, and a fighter. The combat was in Iran, and as you can see, I'll help you see a little better, Iran still holds Shiraz and Eastern Iran both. So there was a front commander, an army commander, and at least 1 division commander who got a visit from the KGB. We'll just leave it at that. The Iraqi forces, with their Soviet advisor, crashed and burned horribly. They lost a fighter, 3 MBTs. Everybody retreated back to Baghdad. The battle only cost Iran a SAM. That was the only casualty they took. For non-combat, the Soviets beefed up their presence in southern Caucasia. You can see they moved some, pretty much everything that had been in western Ukraine moved down to southern Caucasia. Okay, for PRF missed their recruitment roll. Iraq hit theirs. So as you can see, they chose to put a light infantry in Basra. There was one thing I forgot to mention on build. Soviet Global started a minor air base and a minor army base. One of each. So that's coming up. Soviet Global's income is still 37. They saved one, put 38 rubles in their bank. US Global, their basic intelligence of 7, moved them up to 31, just one shy of DEFCON 3. For tech, they didn't do very good. They only hit 1 out of 4, which was for advanced SLBM to move that to stage 3. For their purchase, military aid, they paid for an extra expensive SAM for Iran again. The Iranians did a pretty good job of holding out this time, as we saw. Then for themselves, US Global bought 2 MBTs, Top Gun Naval Air Superiority Fighter, and they finished Super Carrier and Cruiser. They finished a super... Something's running through my mind. I think I made a mistake. I did. I'll have to correct that. Well, this is just how I took an FEC Super Carrier and Cruiser by mistake. Well, an FEC Super Carrier by mistake. And used US Global money to pay for it and put it on the map. So I will take that back off and I'll refund US Global the $5 that they spent to finish it. The Cruiser wasn't... Well, no, I don't remember if I think the Cruiser... I'll have to look at the setup chart and see which one put that Cruiser on the build map, and if I need to make another adjustment, I will. Okay, so never mind about all that. There wasn't any combat, of course, because they're not able to. For non-combat, the Atlantic Fleet that was in A24 minus the U.S. Global Super Carrier that has joined the fleet, and as you can see the battleship, they stayed home. Everybody else came down here to A36 to say hello to their Latin American neighbors. Hi fellas, hi. How you doing? All right, and then they also moved 2 MBTs from Nicaragua up to Honduras to reinforce that position. Okay, Iran hit its recruitment roll, and they chose to put 2 paramilitary into Shiraz to give them a couple extra guys there to absorb casualties. The American income is 31 plus 3 for acquired territories, making a total of 34. Far East Command, of course, they don't do any tech or anything like that. They built 2 MBTs, 1 SPAG, and 1 paramilitary. And FEC decided to pull the trigger and declare war on China this turn. Yes, combat in the East. as you can see, as you can see, there's been some action. Okay, so we started off, there was an attack from North Vietnam into Guangxi. The attack was supported by cruise missile attacks from the fleet who came down here from P8. They came down here to, was that P28? Into the East China Sea. And as long as I'm here, as you can see, these Soviets did capture Guangxi. It was a bit of a fight. The Soviets lost 4 light infantry and 2 Yak-38s in that struggle. You can also see over here in western China, western Xinjiang, the Soviets attacked out of northern and southern Kazakhstan and Zavakhan. They had a couple of forces there in Mongolia, and they were able to capture that for no losses. So as you can see, they've got a nice little force there now. There was also 2 attacks up north. Attack into northern Manchuria. The Chinese defenders were wiped out. However, on the last defensive roll, the last Soviet unit capable of capturing the territory was killed. Those People's War bonus sometimes make a difference, because it was a 3 that killed the last unit was what was rolled. So that's sitting there out of supply. And then there was an attack into central Manchuria, which you can see was successful. Let's see, where am I? The Soviets going into, well, looks like I forgot to write down the casualties for central Manchuria. Anyway, the attack into northern Manchuria that failed cost the Soviets 2 mechs and an air cav. Actually, they may not have lost. I don't think they lost anything taking central Manchuria. Okay, then we also had some action at sea. The SSG that was here in P16 was sunk. It was attacked by a combination of an SSN and 4 diesel boats. There was also a port strike on this Chinese force in port there. And that one sunk a cruiser, a destroyer, a frigate, and an SSN. Then there was also, you see the Soviet fleets here, the battle cruiser shot some P700s, and the battle cruiser shot some P700s, and a cruiser shot an anti-ship missile, I think is how that went, into this port. And what happened there? They killed the amphib. There are still, at this one here, there are still 2 missile patrol boats in port. Up here, there are 3 missile patrol boats and 2 diesel boats. And of course, as everyone knows, missile patrol boats cannot be attacked with anti-ship missiles. That's why they're still sitting there. So yeah, China had one stout defense. They bled the Russians a little bit, but they lost some ground. They lost 3 territories. Uh, basically, they basically lost their surface navy, and things just aren't looking very good in Commeyville right now. So China went up to wartime income when they were attacked, and then they came back down, of course, lost ground from territory that was lost. FEC has boosted their income up to 17. They also got a +1 for computers, a +1 for something. I don't remember what that abbreviation is for. And then +2 more for, +1 for Central Manchuria, +1 for computers, and +2 more for the other 2 land zones in China to give them a bank of 21. Sorry, that took a little while to figure out again, even from my notes. There was quite a bit. I've been working on this turn for probably about 5 hours. This was a pretty big turn. Okay, Pacific Command. Their basic intelligence of +2, plus the escalation increases they got from FEC's foray into China, have put them up to 17, which puts them at DEFCON 2. Okay, for their purchase, PAC bought 2 MBTs and an airborne. They elected not to declare war, so there was no combat. The non-combat was a little bit of sea movement. The amphib sitting there off Okinawa has been pulled over here into the Central Pacific, along with the destroyer and the SSN that had been, the SSN that had been in the North Pacific. The destroyer was dispatched out from San Diego to provide the amphib some escort, just in case FEC gets to feeling froggy. And then you see down there in Cambodia, a light infantry was airlifted in from the west coast, and then the light infantry from Hawaii was airlifted up to Alaska to bolster that defense a little bit. Okay, that was that. The MBTs and the airborne went into Cambodia. And they put $17 in their bank. China, reeling from the surprise offensive by Far East Command, things got rattled a little bit at their tech ministry because they missed everything. So the chairman, I think, is also having a closed door meeting tonight. They did roll for battlefield nuke release authorization, which they got. They ended up rolling, I believe it was a total of 8 dice, and they had a 10, an 11, and a 12. So they hit it plenty. Of course, since they were attacked, they got 6 free paramilitaries and a discount on light infantries, which they used to buy 3. And since they are at war with a major power, they're also produced 1 cruise missile, 1 anti-ship missile, 1 silkworm, and 2 YJ-8s. They elected not to counterattack, The chairman felt they didn't even have enough strength anywhere to mount a credible spoiling attack. So they've decided to husband their forces and hunker down in defense, which in non-combat, they move some more forces into southern Manchuria to reinforce that. They're free paramilitaries. 3 went into southern Yunnan, or northern Yunnan, to garrison the minor army base there that had been undefended. 3 went into central Manchuria, along with the 3 light infantry they purchased. China's income after losing territories and so forth is 7, plus 3 for independent arms sales, put 10 in their bank. And that's it for turn 4. Ozark Outpost, over and out.